Hello. So, welcome to this live. Please share, please like, please comment so a lot more people can see this. But first of all, this is not going to be a long live. This is going to be relatively quick because it's a shout out. It's a shout out to all my LIB folks who are doing a great job. I'm going to highlight a few of them today on this channel. So, yeah, that's pretty much what this video is going to be about. Shout out to the wonderful LIB folks who are changing the status quo, those who are very consistent, those who just started a journey to Liberia. I was almost about to say to back home. um, so yeah, that's really what I'm going to talk about today. So if you are new to this live, this thing is going to be making a lot of noise today. So why I'm wearing it after all my meetings, I don't understand. Um, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I would just want to shout out to a lot of folks, and is an encouragement thing here for me for today. So if you're journeying like this, share with your friends, your family, comment. Um, so yesterday I had a conversation with a lady. She is actually a nurse who lives in the U.S. and I was really fascinated about what she had to say. So I thought about it and I started to talk to more people. And instead of just pointing fingers all the time, it's very good to give people flowers when they are alive. In essence, making them to do more and also having others very motivated to work and do other things as well. So when I spoke with her yesterday, she told me about her nonprofit organization in Liberia. It's called Nurse to Nurse. And so what they do is they gather as nurses in the US. They go to Liberia to help with some of the health issues that the nurses are encountering, right? And even the nurses that are there and how trained or professional they are. So they work along with these nurses to do competency checks. They, provide CPR training. And I was just really fascinated about that because instead of saying we have a really bad healthcare system, these people are going, taking their skills to Liberia, equipment to help, with the sector. So I just wanted to shout out to the nurse to nurse folks who are making an impact in Liberia when it comes to healthcare. The other shout out I want to give is to all the young folks. I've seen a lot of young folks talking about their involvement in Liberia, especially today when I spoke with a young guy from Dakota, telling me about his involvement in agriculture, especially when it comes to palm, avocado, and other aspects of agriculture. And I was really fascinated about that because he's like a young man, and this work that he's doing is something to shout out. So I'm giving shout out to young Liberian business folks, older Liberian business folks, those who are just into nonprofit, those who are into volunteerism, those who are just into mentorship. Shout out to you. We don't get this a lot, and I believe that if we are all involved, then we can make a better impact than if we start to do things on our own. So yeah, those people who have been making headways in Liberia to get things going, shout out to you because I know it's not easy to do things in Liberia at all. It is really not easy, and so don't be discouraged. Continue to be consistent in your efforts. Um, if you're consistent, you're gonna get things done. But if you give up right away, then I'm sorry. It's not meant for you to start. So yeah, that's really what this thing is about today. It's not. I'm not here to talk too much about what this person didn't do, this person did. It's more so to encourage Liberians that are doing well and continue to encourage them, even when the journey is hard, even when we have concerns for security, even when we have concerns of staff, family, whatever it is. Just continue to push. Okay, you do have. Um, you want to contribute to our country, and so don't be discouraged. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, you can't do this because this place is hard, this place is not developed, this and this and that. So be encouraged. You will face a lot of obstacles, especially our country. But you have to, at what point you have to you at some point you have to say you're doing it for a reason, you're doing it for a purpose, you're doing it for a cause, you're doing it because you want to see change, you want to be a change agent. These are some of the things that you have to continue to tell yourself. And for those who are newcomers to Liberia, when I mean newcomers, you probably haven't been back for years. And those that are looking to go back home, even if they haven't gone back for years, just words of encouragement. Go and see the country as a blank sheet of paper, okay? That's pretty much how you need to see it. It's blank, and now how can you draw? What can you draw on your blank canvas? That's how you need to see it. If you go there and you see lack of order, you can ask yourself, how do I help fill in? It's not that you're going to solve all the problems. You really cannot as an individual. But how can you paint on that canvas to see your own contribution as well? That's what you want to do when you go back home for the very first time and you see some of the things that you don't like to see. So yeah, shout out also to everyone who's on the journey of this community development that we talk about all the time. Shout out to those who started their cleaning businesses in Liberia. I know a lot of people now are involved in waste management. So shout out to all of those people. Shout out to those who are doing solar work. I've come across people who are doing solar work because of this lack of stability in electricity. Shout out to all of you. So I mean, who's going to transform this country, right, if we don't? So shout out to all of you for that. Um, I don't have much to say really, but to just take this time to say thanks to those who are taking the initiative to do things in Liberia. Really, we don't get that a lot, and for that, I just wanted to take this time to say thank you. Your efforts are not going to be wasted. If anything, your efforts are going to bring transformation. In ways that you probably don't even notice. So that's part of your patriotism that Mr. Jefferson talked about the last time as we were determining some of the solutions to our problems. So yeah, you are a patriot if you decide to contribute to the development of Liberia. So thank you for that. Be the change you want to see instead of constantly saying, oh, this country is doing better. I'm going to go sit down here. I'm going to buy my house here. But then you leave your backyard dirty and then you want to go to somebody clean backyard. It's not going to work. It just will not work. So we got to step up. We, Liberians, got to step up. We need to stop saying we're going to try. There is no such thing as trying. We have to step up. That's just the reality of all of this. Okay? We have to step up. We don't wait for somebody to install drainage in your own yard. You install your own drainage. So step up to the plate. That's pretty much what I'm saying. And for those who have stepped up, thank you so much. If you guys have not heard about the Nurse to Nurse organization, they are doing an excellent job going back home, speaking to nurses. So if you are a nurse, you should probably connect with them. I plan to volunteer because of my background in administration. I will volunteer 100% with them. I don't need no fee to be a part of it. This is my contribution when it comes to healthcare. So nurse to nurse, they leave the U.S., they combine, they join together and go to Liberia and train nurses. This is completely nonprofit. They're not looking for benefits. I just wanted to shout them out here today because these individuals are really doing a good job. When they went back recently, they work with 200 nurses, and that's what we want to see. So if you are a nurse, uh, doctor, administrator, even a nurse assistant, whatever. Just you can contact this group and be and create an impact in our country when it comes to the healthcare sector. Because I would be honest with you guys, every sector in that country needs help. Everywhere you turn, there's some kind of help that's needed. So whether you're into janitorial service, there's some help needed. I'm not kidding. So everywhere you go, they need help. And so when you create awareness in this place in across nurses, waste, whatever agriculture. You're arming people with tools instead of just giving them money constantly to do things. You go, you train these nurses, the next thing, people will start educating. People will go to schools and say, you know what, we want to revamp schools. People will start going to different, you know, different sectors to start revamping. And that's how this change is going to come about. I'm going to keep saying this today on this channel, because I know Liberians watch this channel a lot. And I mean, a little motivation goes a long way. And those who have been watching my channel for a long time understand that I will continue to push you, even though some people here just try to tell me I talk too much. I will just continue to say it. And at the end of the day, whether I talk too much or not, somebody somewhere is going to be inspired. That's just my point. So yeah, so shout out to even members of our Burrowville, members of construction, member of agriculture, member of waste management, members of real estate, whatever. What the regardless of the project you're a part of, you're still a change agent because you're deciding to make some kind of contribution to the country. And so shout out to all of you. Be consistent. Don't give up. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Don't get me wrong. I know it's very hard, but there is a vision that needs to be accomplished, and that's where you need to keep your head like, okay, I need to get something accomplished. I need to get something done, and therefore your attention then become very focused and not distracted by the noise. Okay, in the market, they say, if you mind the noise in the market, you will never buy. You will never buy what you went there for. Okay, pretty much that's what that is. So be encouraged. Be encouraged. All is not lost. And I believe, I really believe, a lot more Liberians are going home. Just last year, December, we had about 5,000 individuals. So now imagine 3,000 out of those 5,000 people that went home. If everyone was just like, let's come together and do this project. And then do this project. Imagine what would happen. But then the next thing this year is a lot more people are going home than last year. So imagine what's happening. There's a transformation that's happening that is coming. It is gradually coming that we don't understand. More people are going home more than ever before. More people are engaged more than ever before. I get calls every day. When I tell you every day, I'm not over exaggerating this stuff. I get calls from young folks. I get calls from older folks. I get calls from people who are almost about to even die. Not even joking about it. The change is coming and is starting with all of us. And I'm very, very optimistic actually. A few years ago, if you had asked me how optimistic I am about Liberia, I'd probably tell you, I'll probably answer you based on politics. My response would have been, well, who knows? Depending on who the president is, who knows? But now my views have changed. Okay, my views have changed because of what I see, what people tell me, what I see. See is always believing, or what I see happening in the country. It's exactly what I talk about all the time. And so, for those who are not part of the development train, I'm not saying just go jump on the train. I'm saying go and assess the train and see if it's okay to go inside, and then you get on it, okay? And then we get to this place of development. So yes, be encouraged to make a change in our country. That's really what it is. Um, I have something to talk about, but other than this topic, there was something else. Oh, Bobby, how are you, my dear? Um, I'm always preaching on this channel about Liberia. So, although there are other things I should be talking about, like business and even traveling, but yeah, I think my priority is this specific place, and that's home. Home is where your heart is, and my heart is always there. And if I go there and I see that things are not moving the way I would like to see support that, then that's exactly what I have to do. So yes, thanks Bobby for watching. As always, so supportive on this channel. So very supportive on this channel, even when I talk too much, according to some people. So yes. What else? I don't think I have anything else to talk about. But that, just a shout out, just encouragement, words of encouragement. If you are anticipating just stopping projects that you're doing home because of circumstances, you probably don't want to stop. Again, I don't want to tell you don't stop. Oh, if it's a situation that requires you to take a break, by no means take a break. But if you are planning to just stop what it is you're doing in Liberia because they say, I say this, that, this, and that, this, and that, then you want to reevaluate. If you are stopping based on maybe trust, you want to also evaluate things. You also want to evaluate if you are stopping because there are just barriers, a lot of things are just in your way. Ooh, 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 ooh. Then, then you also need to evaluate. You don't want to stop necessarily, but you can evaluate, modify, and that's why I always talk about planning. Review your plan, modify it, and then continue to move forward. Because if you give up, then the problem stays, okay? And then we don't have the forward movement that we would like to have. So that's my encouragement to you. Many times I've thought about this. Many, many times. You guys know I work with communities. Many times I was like, oh my God, I'm done. I'm so done. And then I tell myself, hey, why don't I just buy my home wherever I would like here and live my life? You know, uh, I mean, but then and then this voice in my head that tells me there's a bigger goal other than buying my home and being comfortable in America, comfortable, because there's a place that requires more of my attention. And so when I start to give up a little bit, I reassess and see how best I can continue, and so that the same thing is applicable for you. If you've tried before in this place and it didn't work out for you, you go back to the plan and say, what did I do wrong earlier to get me to these results? Okay, and then you reevaluate and then you go back. Perhaps it could have been staffing issue. I'm talking specifically to those who have businesses and it didn't work out for you. It could have been staffing issue. Where do you go as a leader now is to evaluate what you did before. It's like your baseline. Assess your baseline and then try to improve on it gradually. Don't go at a high speed and then as you go at a high speed, the wall hits you and you fall behind. It's not effective at all. So that's my advice to those who are doing business. And then additionally, if you got burned by people, okay, people, friends, family, um, even those who say they do business as well, if you got burned by that, you can still evaluate and take a different step. Because remember, we're not trying to give up. The bottom line is we're not trying to give up. The other thing is, if you are so concerned about where you stay when you go home, there is always solution to problems. If you wanted to build your mansion, maybe you tell yourself, I could do a two-bedroom house, two-bedroom apartment, and I will build this, I will stay in it, and I'll build my dream home. Instead of just paying so much money for hotels every time you go, and you're spending so much, and that money you're spending in hotels, the 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, you close your eyes, put it towards a two-bedroom place, and then once it's done, you're comfortable, you stay there, and then you build your dream house. But where it will stop you from going back home because you don't have a place to stay now, and because you spend so much and you exhausted your resources on hotel, that becomes a little bit of a problem. So reevaluate your plans. If you cannot do mansion now, don't give up. Oh, I'm never building that place because I cannot build my dream house. Kumbaya. No, you cannot build a dream house at this moment, but there's also a secondary plan that you can do while you're in that two-bedroom. You go to sleep good at night. you're a little comfortable, your expenses are reduced, and then gradually you build this dream house. There's just a couple of steps that needs to be taken before you get there. But that doesn't mean you give up. That is exactly my suggestion. And for some of you who've actually gone there and have assessed the place and said, this place don't have no orders, no laws, no regulations. Oh no, this and that. I'm exhausted. I would never go back. I had this conversation with one lady recently. She said, oh, I'm done. I'm so done, Emma. I'm so done. And I said, why are you done? And she said, oh, I spend so much money, and my family, when we go out, they make me pay. Huh, huh, huh. So I asked her, I said, do you have to pay for them? How are these people? And is the unnecessary obligations we assign ourselves. That is exactly what's happening to some folks. You go home, you decide to go to a restaurant, and then you decide to take your 10,000 members behind you, and then now you came from a state, you will pay. So the question is, were you obligated to take 10,000 people behind you, or is the word no not in your repertoire at all? It's because of all this now you can go back home. So if that is a problem for you, that because you took your family members, they make sure they suck you dry of your money, the next time you go, you probably want to limit the number of people you carry behind you, or not to be selfish, you could say, instead of eating out, how about we cook? Again, there are solutions to some of these little things that are stopping people from even going back again. The other lady called me and she said, oh, the place was so expensive. And I said, okay, how about we build you a little place? Not me necessarily, but it's my suggestion. You get a place, you stay there as you're building your dream home. Oh, I never thought about that. So the thing is, you have to revamp certain things. The things that you plan in your mind, that it might require steps before you get there. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You have to modify some of the things that you think you want to accomplish. Maybe they require 10 steps instead of 2 steps, and that's fine. That's fine. Every All these fingers, they're not equal for a reason. So you see John Brown building his mansion, you have no idea where John Brown got that money from, or what time John Brown had. So evaluate some of these things. You're not in competition. I know how people like to compete, but you're not in competition. So some of these things can be avoided to reduce pressure on you when you go home. Okay, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, that's exactly what I'm saying. If you went home, you got robbed. Okay, let's say you got robbed because you're on your phone all day and somebody took your phone. Is it right somebody took your phone? Absolutely not. But let me tell you what I do. I don't talk on the phone when I'm in certain areas. It has helped me. I've never come back from back home and told you anyone that somebody stole from me. Nobody steals from me when I go home, okay? I also just prevent myself from going to places where I'm not supposed to be. Some things are just more common sense. I don't go to red light. I've never been to red light since I've gone to Liberia. It's not that I'm better than red light. Absolutely not. My stomach cannot be in a crowded place for a long time. That's the first aspect. Number two, I'm not in the capacity to fight things that are not worth it. So I don't go to red light. That's just me. I don't I'm not in car trying to be on my phone. Hello? Hello? You're literally on your mirror, and then you're doing hello, hello, hello. The same thing is applicable in some European countries. Let me tell you guys something right now. Those who always say, oh, Liberia, they jack your phone. They do the same thing in some European countries. I kid you not. It happened to somebody when I was in Italy. They literally snatch your phone from your hand. Okay? And so what I'm trying to say is that you have to evaluate what is causing you to say you don't want to go home, and then try to find solution to them. Okay, if you have security issues, be at a place where maybe $10 more to have security. if you want to stay in those places. If you're afraid somebody's going to check your phone, don't take your phone. If you're afraid somebody's going to take your fancy bag, don't take fancy bag. Some of these things are just so like common sense, right? But we got to kind of remind you, if I'm going to Mexico, I trust me, trust and believe I do the same thing. If I'm going to Europe, trust and believe I tried my best to do the same thing. So it's some things are just common across. Surprisingly, you would be surprised. People say, "Oh, I bought my building materials, and in Liberia, somebody broke my zinc warehouse and took my things." You will be so surprised. On American job sites, if they don't secure the materials, they're gone. Let me just tell you right now today, if you think I'm lying, call a construction company tomorrow and ask them what happens if they have a site that they're building and they leave everything there without security, okay? Or perhaps they leave things there, and even if they fence it without the proper mechanism like cameras and other things there or security person, if the materials are there. Absolutely not. The problems that are here in terms of certain things that we think would not be happening because we're in Liberia, they do happen here. They really do happen here. You can purchase a building materials in America here. And if that place is not secure that it's supposed to be, people are going to steal it. People are going to steal it. It happens all the time. I want you guys to call some Home Depot, building material stores, or even people in construction, whatever. Just ask them. They will tell you. So these problems can be alleviated if you really modify and focus. And again, I'm not saying we are free from them, okay? I'm not saying maybe you've done all these things and oh my God, kumbaya, everything is perfect. There is still a level of awareness that you must apply, okay? And those who are in isolated areas in Liberia, let's say because you build your house in the middle of Grand Bassa, going to Grand Bassa, going to Grand Bassa, and you build your house and you're so isolated from your neighbors. So it means that, oh, um, I'm just because I'm far away from everyone, I'm just gonna have one security person and that's it. No. What that means is you need to put other security measures in place. That's just what it is. Maybe if you only have lights in your house, you need to put lights on your fence. There's just a lot of things that you can really avoid when you're in that country. A lot of things you can avoid. Those who say, Emma, there is no transportation. Oh my God, transportation is so expensive. Transportation is expensive. Uber in America is expensive. If you have a vehicle in the United States, it's expensive. So there's no difference. The difference, however, in terms of there's no difference in terms of cost. The difference, however, is access. That's the difference. Here you can order Uber, you can order Lyft anytime. But sometimes you might have to sit with people in the same taxi, even if they're so sweaty. Oh Lord. You have to sit because lack of access and because they don't have sufficient competitors. So if you have fewer competitors, then now the prices will be increased. If there was no Lyft, Uber prices will always be high. But if you look at the apps, you will see the price changes based on if you're a female or a male. They charge differently by genders, by the way. The same is applicable back home. If you have 5 cars, okay, versus 10 cars, you need to tell me if the prices will be the same. If the price will be the same if you have more cars versus fewer cars. People know you have to get somewhere, therefore the prices will stay consistent. The other thing is the whole transportation of your materials when you're building your houses. They charge you based on your road. So if you have a very bad road, they charge you more money. So instead of you collecting your neighbors so you have to fix the road, you're gonna complain because they have bad roads and you can't get your materials to your house, to your land to build. Well, you have bad roads. So the trucks now are gonna charge you based on your bad road. So there are just things that can be easily avoided, or things that you probably just want to modify. When some of you would tell you we can't build your house during the rainy season time, you start to cry. Oh my God, you guys are this, you guys are not professional, you guys are this, and I'm trying to save your money. Some of you guys are probably watching this thing. Many of you guys are trying to help save money, and you're just so stubborn sometimes. Like, it's raining, and I said, look, please don't do your project now. I'm really on your side. And you still decide you want to do project. So when the people come with a transportation bill, and I tell you, and now you want to get upset. So there are so many things that honestly you guys can avoid by just rethinking a lot of your processes and your plans and procedures. Things that you would rather you would do at a later time, you want to rush. It's not necessary at times. So some of these things that I've highlighted are concerns that people raise all the time. Maybe the cost thing, the car thing, the place to stay thing. Recently somebody said, "Hey man, can I rent your apartment? How much is it?" And I said $35 per night. Do you know what they told me? Oh, that is so cheap. So I said, my place actually is more than $35. But I'm giving it to you because you will be one of the person who's going to develop, and now you're going to complain that a place is so expensive. But we also have this mentality that cheap equate to bad, and so it suffers you. So you would rather stay at a hotel that is $250 versus $150 hotel that probably serves the same thing that you're looking for. But because expensive is associated with good, so now you think you need to go and like blow your money, and then you come back and say, "Oh, that country is so expensive." So, sometimes I laugh because we create our own problems. We create our own problems when there shouldn't be problems. Yeah, so these are some of the things that we can easily avoid. Liberia is a beautiful country. Um, Beautiful country, beautiful beaches. I love nature, so I'd like to talk about the beaches. I love hiking, so I talk about Mount Neba. I love outdoorsy things, and I find so much beauty, yet with so much inadequacies and so much systemic issues. We have too many of them, but this is where we come in. We come in and say, okay, these are all the beautiful things. Now, how do we get it to stay that way? How do we get it to even become better? And that's the question that we have to ask ourselves, and our own contribution to better. And what is better? So yes, the encouragement is for all of you guys who are watching, and thanks for joining me. I know it's relatively late to some of you, but yeah, we encourage people here on this channel. We spread positivity on this channel because with the challenges, you still see the light at the end of the tunnel. Tunnel. I'll be like, the tunnel is so long, right? But there's a little bit of a light that's coming in. As I get closer, the light become brighter. And so that's how I see Liberia often. That when I put in more work, the light start to come in. It start to come in. And that's where you also have to tell yourself that when you put in your effort, at the end of the day, when you say, yes, I have done my best, not I have tried. Because a person can make one step and be like, yeah, I tried, I'm done. But when you know you've given your best effort for things that you are capable and know how to do, then you can say, yeah, I've actually done my best. So, that is really the message to people that watch this channel, to people that share this channel, to people that like this channel, that comment this channel, So yeah, be encouraged. I look forward to going back home. Actually, I wanted to recover fully, But I have 2 more weeks to recover. What kills me now is I cannot run. That it kills me every time when I cannot run. So I come on this thing, I talk because it's my escape. Think about it, you guys have probably seen more videos recently because yeah, I have the content, right? But I'm coping that I cannot run because I'm still recovering from my surgery. Every morning I would do my 7 miles, but now I'm just like, oh no, I have yet to run in the past 5 weeks. It bothers me. So I need to better heal to go to Liberia by God's grace next month, which I look forward to. Whenever I think of the country, the first thing I think about when I say I'm going home is the food. It's the food. Not that I don't cook my own food, I do, but there's something else. It tastes different when it's home. You guys can probably admit it. The cassava leaf, I don't like cassava leaf very much, but the cassava leaf I would cook in the United States, in my home, is different from when I go home and eat that very good cassava leaf. And those who know I love potato greens, it just does not taste the same. So I go home and I just tell my cook, Mom Betty, I want potato greens, I want cabbage, I want okra, I want all of it. And so that's part of the reason I miss home. And then I get to work. When I go and I get to work, I encourage my staff. I encourage, some of the people in the neighborhood that I go to, and I try to work through and work with. And we have meetings and talk about how we can be impactful within that community as well. And so, but the third community that I have on this list, they told me, they said, hey, Emma, we want a school in this community. So I said, okay, that's all. And they started to list things, and I said, which is your priority? Is the school your priority, or is the well, or is this? To be honest, all of them are priorities. But everything needs to start gradually. So when you go home, you go to communities and talk to them. What do they need? Yeah, you might want to say, I want to establish business in this area, but then you need to ask them, what do they need as well within the community? That's your social obligation as a business. Um, so yeah, that's why I look forward to going home. And when I go home, other than the food and other than the projects, it's how can I make an impact across those that are very unfortunate, underprivileged. Um, so yes, and then I want to go to, I would like to go to where I was born, Maryland County, but God, I pray the road is good. I can go to my where I grew up, Grand Cook County, because it's at a later time in life that I intend to do that. But I look forward to going to different counties. As you guys saw the last time when I was there, I went to Nimba, which actually now is one of my favorites because of the electricity, because of the free movement, and because businesses are open late. I love that because in Nimba businesses are open late. That I can just go and grab some wine somewhere in Nimba County, and it's after 11 o'clock. I don't have to worry about coming home because it's late like that. It's late. Um, and I'll go to like Bond County for farming purposes. Go to Bummy for farming purposes as well. And then this my upcoming trip, I intend to go to Grand Bassa because I've already established contact for another community, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, so I look forward to these things. Um, Most importantly, the food. Every time I talk about the food, you guys can see I'm even smiling more on this thing. Yeah, because the food is very important. But yeah, I want to also visit reading rooms when I go to Liberia to visit reading rooms. What some people are doing when it comes to reading is it's important that um, we engage the kids because they're the future. The kids are the future, and so we have to arm them with all the resources we can. So yeah, I visit those places as well, and I visit businesses too. encourage Liberian business owners, and just tell them how they can uh, speed up their businesses and or sustain them. One of the issues that Liberian businesses I have seen tend to have is the payment system or lack of payment system. Most people want to do cash. I know we live in a cash based society, which is Liberia. Everything is cash and cash and cash. But things become more efficient if you include other payment methods. So if you include mobile money into your business, you could provide an incentive. You could provide an incentive to customers why they should use mobile money to reduce cash transactions or even to elevate your payments. So you could even say if something was to cost a customer $5, if that customer used mobile money, it could be $4.50. So I try to talk to Liberian businesses on how they can elevate some of those things. Um, Very important. So yeah, I do these things. I go to different businesses. My goal is to go to farms, uh, go to farms and really focus on agriculture and finishing that entertainment center. Although we had to pause because it was raining, the landscaping work I want to do at that entertainment center include a wooden deck at the back of the water over there. So I had to pause that when the rain stops. Then we'll do the deck back there. I love the front design. I hope to share with you guys soon, but that deck there before people sit on it needs to be done well. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? How are you? Thanks for tuning in to this. So mm, that's one of the things that I would like to accomplish when I head home there. So yes. So how can you be a part? Is to be a patriot. I hate to say I'm copying. I'm copying Jefferson. Sidebar from Liberian TV, but that is the fact. Hello, Zawadi. I agree. Nimba County is developing at a fast pace from area outside of Monrovia. Absolutely, absolutely, um, absolutely. Yeah, Nimba County. I was surprised. It's not perfect. It's not 100%, but I was surprised by many things. Nimba County, the folks there are so progressive. I've said this on this channel many times. People from Nimba are just progressive. They just come up to you, hey, do you have jobs? They're not sitting. They're not just sitting. And I hate to say people are lazy, but they're not lazy. They're not sitting. And then you have the electricity that I love very much. Because when you have electricity, businesses are able to stay open. You have customers. Business people can now sustain their businesses. Businesses become more sustainable. People can be hired. They're just great things that happen when you have electricity. Okay, people tend to feel more secure when there's electricity. So in Nimba, to be honest with you, we walk the street 11 o'clock. I'm sorry to say, but the place where electricity was there, so I was like, guys, I want to take a walk. Okay, and so I really like Nimba. To be honest with you, for a place that is really outside our Monrovia, they're very progressive. And if more places can be like that, Nimba County, we will start to move from further away from where we are now in a more positive light. So I really like that, and I hope I wish my my Maryland County and Grand Creek County were like this, but we still move either way. My grandma said, well, if you want to go change Grand Creek County, then you need to go run. I said, Grandma, don't do it. Don't say that again. I have no political ambition when it comes to that place. In in terms of just trying to change things from that perspective. Anyway, we move. Um. So yeah. So I look forward to that. Another place I would like to go again for the second time would be Kmart. Grand Cayman, something about Grand Cayman that does bring joy to me. But again, that's because I love the water, and that's why I like Grand Cayman County. And so the beauty of that country is just is unexplainable natural beauty. natural beauty, in which I think that we can capitalize on even tourism. We can really capitalize because if you look at a country like Zimbabwe, just from tourism alone, millions and millions and millions of dollars just from tourism alone. If you look at their, if you look at where they're generating a lot of their funds, it's tourism. And a country like ours with such natural beauty, with oceans and mountains and resources that are just physically apparent, we can capitalize on it. But do we wait for the big dogs to join the race? Or do we say, hmm, collectively we can come together and expand this sector? It's a question. It's a question. It's a question that we need to ask because honestly, there is a need. As you guys start to see more people head towards the other West African country, everything has a point of plateau. Okay, there will be at a point where it was it's too saturated. Now, where are the other opportunities surrounding this place? And that's where Sierra Leone and Liberia always will come in. But before a person can say, yes, let me go here, some system needs to be put in place. And so if you were looking to tourism, how then do you target that sector? Like when I want to tour somewhere, I need to ensure that it's safe. So then you do your check mark. Is it? If I want to tour somewhere, I want to ensure that the people who are taking me there are informative. So when you are looking at tourism, do I have all the info? Check or no check? If you are looking for tourism, have you addressed the hospitality aspect? Check. If you are looking at tourism, what are some of the regulatory things that are needed? What needs to be followed? Check. So as you start to ask yourself, how do you become well involved into tourism? These are some of the questions that need to be addressed. Is a good sector, and Liberia is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Um, but there are prerequisite things that needs to be addressed before tourism become a hot cake. Um, and some of which we've addressed even previously, and I've probably stated on this channel. When I go somewhere and I want to showcase the surrounding, I'm showing the beauty. Maybe one or two individuals will see it and say, "Oh, that's pretty." When we can address our prerequisite things, which is sanitation, waste management, these other things where the outdoorsy part is good. Somebody could say, "Oh, that's Patawi waterfall," but going there, are the roads good? Is there a restaurant I can eat at? Is this safe? These are some of the things that we need to start addressing when we say we want to focus on this sector. So again, it's good. It's just way underdeveloped, even though we have what it takes to make it come alive. And that's why we are so grateful for those who are in hospitality, those who are in construction, those who are even in um, the aspect of providing security. Um, you know, you have to address these, not all of them, of course, because God, you cannot even address all of them at the time. But if you can address the primary things, tourism would be good. When I go to Jamaica, the first thing, I love the water. First of all, that's why I'm going there. But the next thing is, where am I even going to stay? Is it even safe? So if I'm going to Mount, do I have a place to stay? And if I do have a place to stay, is it safe? And is there food to eat? But then these places you go there and you only have one restaurant. So if one restaurant is charging me $50 and I'm hungry, I'm gonna buy it, but I will never want to come back because it's too much. But if you have multiple restaurants along that route, the competition becomes very stiff competition is it. But those things are not happening. And that's where you come in. You come in. You gotta come out today, everybody say, oh, Nana Lush, Nana Lush. And that's a Nana Lush is at full occupancy. Where do you stay? Where do you stay? Nobody's competing. Nobody's coming out with new ideas. Nobody, we're just, we're not doing enough. But we can. So, in order for tourism to blossom, like everyone says, oh, we have this nice beach, we have this mount, we have this and that, rivers, whole lake, the lake and the sea, they touch. Hmm, it's so nice. Hmm, good sight. Hmm, they don't, they come together, they don't touch. Beautiful. But let's say I go to this beautiful place where the water almost touch, but I have nowhere to sleep. Because what? Librarians in the diaspora or librarian back home don't want to build hotels. Or they don't even want to build apartments along the place. Or there's no security. So, do you see why we have to get to the root of the problem and start to fix the root before we can solve the issue? So that's where you all come in. So do your checklist. What is missing? You need to go to Blue Lake, no restaurant. Isn't that shameful? Don't you think that's shameful? You go to the Blue Lake, and then surrounding, no restaurant, no bar, no good road there. Think about it. Think about it. So these things must be addressed. You know. Let me see. Let me see comments. Comments. Competition is good for the for economic development for sure. Of course. Have you heard about the Liberian Business Expo? Yes, they did send me an invite. They are about the things you mentioned and exposing Liberian tourism sector. Choose the Liberian National Tourism. Yeah. Yeah. They sent me an invite to join us. They had a what's it called, a Zoom meeting the last time. I don't think I was in the country. But yes, they do have that, and I hope they can address the prerequisite things that I mentioned here. That's very important, and of course I applaud Dr. Clarice, who I talked to as well in these efforts. However, my hope is to get the root to find solution there, and then you can expand. But again, the journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step. So that's always good. Um, so yes, that's our beautiful sector that needs help as well. Everything to me, they're all related. Security for your business, security for tourism, security for more guests, security for whatever else. It's just the issues are just connected, you know. To solve the puzzle, in order to solve the puzzle, you need to find the problem. The main problem, and then you start to solve the puzzle. But if each of us can get on that blank canvas and say, let me draw my part, and then another person can draw something there, then you start to see the picture come together. Until then, I don't know where we're moving, but we're still moving. Yeah, so these are some of the things that are important to assess and look at. Uh, with that said, I am still proud of the Liberians that are taking the initiative to say, I will go home and make a difference. I will go home and start to build. I will go home to volunteer. I will go home to mentor a kid. I will go home and support my brother and sister business. I will go home and give them my advice or my expertise where applicable. Not that I know everything, but because I want to help. So that is exactly what needs to be done. If we have 5,000 of us, I was talking to somebody this morning. Minnesota population is about 30,000 Liberians that live in Minnesota. Philadelphia has a little bit under that number. If we were to take 5,000 of these individuals, serious and like-minded, not just taking 5,000 people from Minnesota, okay? Serious and like-minded Liberians, 5,000, and we went home to do different things. I wonder where we would be, you know? I think about it often. Where we would be. July 26th, when we have them in the United States, we shouldn't just make it about going to dance, wah or my area music, like my area. What are we including in our July 26th celebrations? I don't go to them, by the way. What do we include in these celebrations? Are we just going there to see each other's faces? Or are we going there to be dancing and being on video, enjoying ourselves? Or are we coming together and say every July 26th we're going to raise money to build a clinic? You know, there are too many things that we as our community can do to change the narrative. And there's just too many opportunities. I used to visit Congolese communities, and each time they had their independence, some 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 hospital was already built, because they collected funds, and that's a huge part of their independence celebration. They collected funds, and then the orphanage was built based on the funds that they collected. And when I think about our July 26th here, I will hope that we can try to be more involved in what is happening and make it more productive. Let's see here. It's good to celebrate history, but it's better to make history. Amen. 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 Absolutely. Um, History is good. We often reference that. Yeah. So we since within the last few years, I've stopped talking about Liberia being the oldest republic for many reasons. And people say, "Oh, you don't know your own Independence Day." I say, "Yeah, sure, I don't." But when I start to go around and say, "Oh yeah, we are the oldest country in Africa," or West Africa, I it's funny. It's funny that my own some of my own Liberian folks says, "Oh, Emma, you don't even know your own Independence Day." I say, "Yeah, 1847." But to say we are the oldest and I don't have much to show, it's very problematic. It's very problematic. Not that I'm not proud of my country, I am 100%. But when you start to spread these things and say you're this and that, this and that, this and that, and you cannot show much for it, it's actually really alarming. So you really shouldn't be saying you're the oldest. Oldest, you mean people should learn and you become an example. That's what oldest is. I'm the oldest of 11 siblings. There are certain things I don't do at all. It's not because I can't, but because I know 10 people are watching. Do you get it? So when you go out into these communities or people who are not even around, people who are not from Liberia, and start to say, we are the oldest republic in Africa. Oh, and start beating your chest. It's very problematic. because that's not the conversation you need to be having. You need to go back to your librarian community and start to have the conversation of how can we change some things that are happening. That's it. Being the oldest is nothing. If I'm not setting an example for my other 10 siblings today, they won't be where they are now because they look up to me as a leader, as an example, in order to help their path. It's not that they will imitate everything I do because I am perfect, but because of them, I make decisions. I don't make decisions for me most of the time when I don't post certain things, or maybe if I don't say certain things, or if I go places, it's because of them. There's so many things I would like to do, but I can't because of them. So when we start to say we are the oldest republic, we need to be able to back that up. You're the oldest republic, but you're still scared about security issues. You're the oldest republic, yet you're still fighting on sanitation. You're the oldest republic, but you're still suffering from light issues. But that's where you, my friend, have to come in and say, no, 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 no. I don't want to be the oldest. I want to make I want to be a part of the change. I want to be a part of the transformation. I want to be a part so that when you start to engage in these conversations with people who are not part of this country, you can say, "Oh hell yeah, these are the things that I am doing that are leading to the change." Not I'm the part of the oldest republic, and you just you don't have you don't have anything going, you know. So let's kind of modify what we're doing, what we say when we are meeting people. And anyway, so yeah, but yeah, be encouraged, Liberians. My Liberian people, yeah, be encouraged, oh my people, yeah, be encouraged that we all will make an impact one of these days. Yes, yes, yes. It's clear I'm waiting for I'm waiting for my food. So I'm gonna keep talking until my food's ready. I think by now you guys supposed to know I like food a lot. Mm. By now you guys supposed to know. Yeah, supposed to know that by now. But yeah, so there's a lot happening. Um, there's a lot happening with everything else in the country. There are people who recently started doing shopping centers. I think one of them should probably be on this live today, but I'm so proud. I'm so proud that, oh Emma, you started communities, and now we're doing shopping centers, and other people say we're gonna start restaurant chains, and some people, it's productive. It's very productive. Yeah, I love, I love food. Let me tell you guys a joke. I had my surgery scheduled for October 7th, and before that surgery, I had a I had a business meeting. I had to go to for a business thing in Italy. So I told myself two things: I could die during this surgery, so I'm going to eat nonstop, and then I will have the surgery. Because one, I always wanted to go to Italy. Two, I need to close this deal before this surgery. And three, I love food. So I'm gonna go there before the surgery. So if anything ever happens to me, I know I have gone to Italy, I ate a lot of food, and I closed this deal. So I went. When I went, I think I had pasta 3 times a day. I had pasta 3 times a day. And one of my colleagues was like, "Do you not eat pasta? Do you not eat pasta in the in the U.S.?" And I said, "Look, I'm just trying to take everything in before the surgery because you just never know what may happen in this life." So yes, I do love food, by the way. But my grandma always said, "But where is this food going? Like we don't see stomach. Where is this food going?" I said, "Grandma, that's what happens when you run 7 miles a day. But yeah, so I do like food, especially Liberian food. My favorite food, potato greens. I'm sure some of you guys know what the beauty of potato greens. I think potato greens are supposed to be the signature for Liberia, Liberian food. Not tabagi. Just start feeding people tabagi, okay? Tabagi is very bitter. So I don't want to meet people and be like, oh, I tried Liberian food before and I this is so this bitter thing and I'm be looking I'm like, who gives the person tabagi, my people? Like, what are you doing? You should be giving them the signature potato greens. And then they would think it's Spanish. So yeah, yes, I do like food. Anyway, that's besides the point. What's up? What do you guys want to talk about here? What with this food? What would you guys like to talk about? What are the comments saying here now? Yes. Hi, Zawadi. How are you feeling? Hi, Olivia. I like this name, by the way, Olivia. 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 I tell people all the time my daughter's name will be Olivia, and they say, "Oh, is it because of Olivia Pope?" I'm like, "Sure, sure." But yeah, Olivia, hello. I'm blessed. Thank you, and yourself. I hope you're great there. Tabagi is an acquired taste. Start with potato greens or cassava leaf. Yes, yes. Now that you said that, I'm even hungry. But yeah, I always tell people too, it's an acquired taste, and until you can kind of feed the person's palate with different foods and they're comfortable, then you can introduce tabagi. It's very acquired. And then the soda and other things, and you just want to take it easy when you're introducing people to Liberian food, okay? Potato gravy is always good. And when in doubt, my grandma says, give them gravy. Oh, cassava leaf is your favorite? Yeah, it's my sister who's next to me is that's her favorite, and my mom will always cook that. And then whenever I'm about to go to Sacramento, I say, "Mom, I'm coming." She said, "Okay, we're gonna cut because you're going to cut potato greens, Emma. We're gonna cut potato greens." And I say, "Thank you for cutting potato greens." It's such a crazy task. I don't even like to cut it, but I can cut it like fine, fine. But I hate cutting greens, but I love greens. Yeah, so you guys know what I like in terms of food on this channel. Um, yes, cassava leaf my favorite. Yeah, girl. I love cassava leaf too. I think yeah, that's what I eat most times when I was in Liberia. Every time my cook calls me, he said, "Emma, are we cooking potato greens today?" I say, "You bet, you bet." Um, but then I go into okra and other things. But yeah, potato greens is always on the menu. Hello, sis. What's up? Hey, Emmanuel. I'm good. How are you? How are you? I'm blessed here. Yeah, we're just talking about, appreciating those who are doing things in Liberia and, also those who are considering doing stuff in Liberia. And what are some things to do to alleviate problems or to prevent ourselves from saying we don't want to go home, in other aspects of the country. Um, yeah. So, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys I see you guys watching? Thank you. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? Oh my God. Yep, so that is all of that. I do have a lot of good content coming up too regarding the young man who opened the mobile clinic. He's going to be sharing his experience and his inspiration behind that business, why he opened a mobile clinic, why they were doing syphilis testing. And, it was very important for me to ask him, like, your doctors, what are their qualifications? What are your motives? What equipment are you using? And perhaps if your business would need help, how can we help foster this vision to have more people doing these tests? So I was able to, go a little bit into their lab today, their microscope and some of the other equipment, the ultrasound machines. And I was like, okay, okay, impressed. So I look forward to having that content with you guys. He will be on my channel very soon to talk about it and see how we can be supportive. Like I said, all sectors in Liberia require some level of help. Um. So yeah, Anything else you guys want to talk about before I can go and chop my food? Maybe I can go chop, 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 chop my food. Yes. When I first came to this country, I the very first time I came to the United States, I asked my mom specifically because my mom worked at a nursing facility at the time. And I told her, I said, hey mom, well first of all, I always wanted to do accounting. Okay. Accounting. My mom said, they don't make money. Don't do that. Don't do that. My grandma says, Emma, you're so good at science. Your aunt is already a pharmacist. You should go to pharmacist school. I'm like, oh God, what is this? I want to do accounting. Okay? That's all I want to do. They're like, oh no, you're just gonna be poor. You're not gonna, don't do it. Da, 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 da. So I said, okay, I want to volunteer at your facility, mom. And she was like, okay, fine. So you can have something to do after school. So I started volunteering at my mom nursing facility. When I started volunteering at the facility, immediately I found the administrator job more convincing. You see, that's where I knew I always wanted to. I've always been fascinated with just business and leadership. As an administrator, you lead the whole facility. So this volunteer thing I was doing was just to go talk to the older people about their lives and companionship and all kinds of stuff. Then I said, oh no, 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 no. I want to go to the administrator. So then I started going to the administrator office, just, how can I help you guys here? Oh no, Emma, we don't need help in this, office. So I asked her, okay, I have an idea. So I used to go to bingo, play bingo with them. They would tell me the stories from 19 God knows when. And I'll be so fascinated and I'll be like, okay, but let me go to activity and start to talk to the activity director, Jenny. That was her name at the time. So I started talking to her and I said, hey, I want to learn more about what you're doing here. And she said, yeah, Emma, you can come, you can come and learn. I said, oh, thank God. So I started shifting from companionship to activity. Then at the end of my junior year, she was like, do you want to work here? And I said, yeah. Do you want to be an activity assistant? I said, yeah. And so my mom was like, at least you got yourself a job. So then I started working with Jenny. And when Jenny left, they made me an activity director. This is literally when I was in 12th grade now. I'm like, damn, that was quick. That was quick. And then the administrator started to see more of my leadership skills in that department. So then he said, okay, well, let me just give you a little bit of heads up with this kind of job. It's very, one, it's very hard. And two, there are not many black people in this position. Oh Lord. I was like, huh? Like literally, I was like, the man is so racist. Ooh. But yes, when you look at statistics, they don't have a lot of black administrators. It's just fact. Even though I wanted to think that was this man was just being racist. And not only that, they don't even have a lot of females within this position. Nevertheless, he said, I will still, give you some of my day-to-day things and then you will learn and da, da, da. I said, okay, fine. So then I started to talk to the nurses on the floor, registered nurses. They call them licensed vocational nurses, LVNs, and CNAs and janitors. And I started to talk to the patients more. And then, some treatments they would give patients, I didn't like it. Some patients would be wet and nobody wants to change them. It just broke my heart. I went home one day, I was crying. My mom was like, get used to it. This is America. So so I was like, oh, interesting. So I said, how can this be changed? How can we care for the people that we're serving? Yeah, most nurses do actually care. But if you're doing a two to a 1 to 8 ratio, one nurse to 8 patient, or perhaps some people even have 11, At what time does that person have, what time does that person have to go to all 11 patients? It's kind of impossible at the time. So I started to study this a little bit and I said, okay, where does the change come from? And so I think, well, the state regulation says this ratio to this ratio, the administrator wants this, the administrator wants that, So I said, okay, so a lot of this comes from the state. The next thing is the administrator trying to meet his or her tax to not get fired. Because if you see the turnover for administrator in those places, it's very, very high. People leave very quickly. So I was like, okay, so in order to impact change, I needed to become an administrator. I said, okay, cool, great, great. So I went back to my mom. I said, Mom, I'm not going to pharmacy school. I'm not going to become a registered nurse. I'm not going to become a nurse, period. I don't like blood. Okay? I don't want to see anything other than money. So my mom was like, okay, fine. You can do it whatever you want. So I said, okay, I will become an administrator, want to be a change agent because if you are an administrator, you have a lot of decision making power. So I started to learn a little bit more about this field and the percentage of people, a woman, to be in such a field. And I decided, okay, what's the pathway is to you know go and see if I should major in health sciences or on what I needed to major in. I was really good at chemistry, so I started to take chemistry and physics at the same time. My mind almost exploded. But then and then in the process, I was thinking about just pharmacy, working at a pharmacy, but being the head at the pharmacy. Then not necessarily I wanted to become a pharmacist, but some of these math and science courses are prerequisites. So I started to take them, and then I started to become more fascinated by all of it, the business aspects, and just the fact that one day I would tell a doctor what it is he or she needs to do. So, so that's how I Oh wow, okay, that this is good. This is good. And so then I went to college. I went to college. I did health sciences as my undergrad, and then I decided to do healthcare management, hospital management, and then with a secondary degree in business management. Okay, so I got those, and then at that time, I did a project for a hospital called Dignity. Dignity Hospital hired a master's student to do a root cause analysis for their hospital, mainly for the emergency wait time. How many of y'all done gone to the hospital and they be waiting for like hours? You're like, oh shit, when am I gonna be calling? Oh no, oh no, oh no. So when they call us in, my colleague Jessica and I, she was like, Emma, you lead this project. This is your thing. You know how to find problems and get solutions and get. So I said, all right, cool. I'll lead this. So I led that project. The average wait time was about 36 minutes. Well, you would think that waiting 36 minutes is actually not a lot, but now when you're in pain, it's a lot. Not when you have other issues, it's a lot. But then, in order to determine how to reduce the wait time, you needed to start from the check-in. The moment they check in, what's happening at check-in? Are people talking? Are people computer like malfunctioning? Like you need to find out what's really happening there first. Then you go to when they call you in, what kind of question they ask. So like, how can we reduce the wait time? That was exactly what was happening. So we did this project and the wait time decreased to, was it 18 minutes? It did decrease significantly actually because you are removing some factors, but there's a whole process thing that you have to submit. So we did this project and then I graduated and then it was like, oh, who is that one girl that did. My colleague had moved to Las Vegas, and Dr. Moore said, oh, it is Emma, Dignity. I was like, is it possible for her to come in and work here? And so then I started working, and then eventually before I left, the wait time reduced to 11 minutes average. So after that, then I joined some of these healthcare organizations. It's like a pay a membership, okay? The Joint Commission. You guys can check that out. Some of them are. They recommend you to some of the organizations for networking purposes. So then I started to be a part, and my colleagues was like, "Oh, you need to do project management." So I did my project management certificate, and then I started doing projects. And then my first big job was with Kaiser Hospital, doing project management. Because my professor always told me, she said, Emma, you're a leader, but in order to lead the people you want to lead, you need to do this. And so I said, okay, I would network, I'll do project management, I would do this, I would do this, I would do this. And then after that, I went to a healthcare consultancy. And this is where I started to do that. And then I kind of forgot about administration because now, like, do I really like to work in a nursing home? I don't think so. So then I had already forgot about it. I forgot about it. Administration, but project management, consultancy, quality management, those type of things were my main focus. One day I'm sitting down, and a girl who I helped on LinkedIn to get a job, her dream administrator job, had called me. She said, "Oh, there's this company in Oregon. They're looking for young, smart administrator." And I said, "Excuse me, I don't want to do this no more, girl. I'm done." So, so she was like, "Emma, come on." So I said, look, I don't want to do this. I know I did it because, I felt sorry for the patients, but I can lead differently, from different perspective. I know this story is so long, but you guys are going to get the gist of the point. I don't want to do that. No, 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 no. So she was like, come on, her name is Rania. She said, you can do it, Emma. You can do it. So I said, fine. Connect me. Let's talk to the recruiter. Let's see if she will even like me. I'm a woman. I'm a black woman. Now I'm talking to a white girl. She was cracking up. And then I got in the interview, and I talked to her. I said, look, I don't fit the description of what an administrator is. So let us just not waste our time. I know she recommended me because she's good, and I just don't want us to waste our time. She was she was like, Kathy, she was probably like, this girl said that. And I said, no, I just don't want to waste my time. And she was like, no, I'm going to proceed. So she asked the questions, and then they flew me in for an in-person interview, and then I flew back again for another interview with the VP. It's too the interviews were a lot, okay, a lot. And at this point, they narrowed down to three of us, two white males and just me. And I was like, I hope these people are not trying to meet the quotas. Oh God, no. And my mom was like, I think you already got this job. I was like, Mom, remember I still don't want to work here. So I did the last interview with the president and then the VP. And then the two individuals had already left. And then one of the ladies, she was like looking at me like, she was like, I was like, even my mom was like, what is she talking about? So I left, and I just told my mom, I said, look, I love what I do. I can still, I still lead by change. It's just no longer with old folks. That's just what it is. And of course, my mom understands, but I just have a belief. So I forgot. I said, look, I'm done. I'm still done with, administration. And then they call. Oh, we have chosen you. The HR people call. Hey, we have chosen you to lead our administration. I said, huh? What? So I was shocked. I was shocked because my mind had already left this whole field. And then fast forward, I met Dr. Heidi, and she was like, Emma, COVID came and we stopped doing elective surgery, and now we need to get to this point. So I said, oh, so you guys are, so we do surgery now just because we need to get more money, and what's happening? And so that was my first fight. Okay, I don't mean to fight, but I like to ask questions. Um, so anyway, she was like, yeah, because COVID, we were turning away people who wanted to do some surgeries that were not necessary. Therefore, now we need to get back to where we need to go. And this is where the aspect of healthcare that is a tricky business comes in. My heart breaks. Healthcare is great, but when you have to meet your bottom line, there are decisions you have to make as a leader that you don't even want to make. So me and these doctors will go back and forth, and I would say, no, no, this is not necessary. We're not gonna do it. Yeah, we are gonna do it. And so that's one of the struggles um, that is present within this field. And so putting patients' needs versus managing and making sure your business stay afloat is a decision you have to make. And oftentimes you only make this decision based on your business interest. So anyway, that's how all that started. Exactly. It's so troubling. It's very troubling, and people don't understand it. And I tell my families all the time, I said, look, you guys know I'm into it. I call the shots. But at the same time, if you don't have this insurance, this specific health insurance, you're done. So my grandma the other day, my grandma doesn't know the difference between Medicare, and Medi-Cal. So I said, Grandma, if you ever call Medi-Cal in my ear again, I'm gonna cry for you because Medi-Cal, they don't care for you. But like this person said, the bureaucracy is too much and it's very troubling. If you have a specific health insurance, you're prioritized. If you don't, you can even get in and tell you there's no bed, even if there's bed. And at that point, I was with admission one day and I started crying. And her name is Caitlin. She said, why are you crying? What's going on? And I said, why did we just refuse this person? Well, Emma, I was like, please, what do I know? And at that point, you have to decide the human factor and the business. And you work for the business. You don't work for the human factor unless the human factor produces more money. Which in this case, I always tell people, if you have Aetna as an insurance company, you need to start running. It's sad, but these things does happen. So the question is, do you think hospitals, healthcare, do you think they care about you? Or they care about your money? That's a question you guys would have to answer. So long story short, that's really my field. I do a healthcare consultation mainly now with newly established entities. It's not like hospitals or clinics, sometimes hospital, but with specific focus. But I do now with newly new businesses. Like let's say a doctor decides to open his or her office. I do that setup. Just from blank to up here, how to even get it running, how to hire, what to do. These are some of my projects that can take me months on end to finish. Um, and then when some place is having some things that I need to do, then I go out along with it. That's why people always ask me, why aren't you doing healthcare? And I said, the reason I'm not doing healthcare in Liberia because it's not now. It's not now. I can volunteer my time, but it's not now. That time will come. My friend is doing her PhD, and she wants to also yeah, in healthcare, and she's also planning to make an impact in that sector. My sister is going to be finishing a registered nursing, and she intends to go to medical school. So when I have the tools in my own control, then we can target healthcare. But for now, I have other priorities. But I still love healthcare though. Other than the money part, which sometimes I hear, I'm like, oh God, why do I have to make this decision? Why do I have to make this decision? It hurts, but that's just what it is. Healthcare is a business. It's a business. So you guys, I've given you guys a little gist of my healthcare journey, and I am grateful for the experiences that I've had. But it's a tricky business. It's a tricky business where, as a leader, you have to really determine your bottom line. Where you're about to fire a nurse who maybe has a kids to feed, and you just fire them because of X, Y, and Z. It's tough. It's tough. Many days I've cried. Many days I've cried. I don't cry because the money isn't good. Oh heck, the money is hella good. But I cry because I lose my human aspect of life when I have to make decisions. When I met two people at my job who are actually from Africa when I worked as an administrator. Nana was from Senegal, and the other guy was from Ethiopia. And when I told them that I was going to move on to my own consultancy stuff, they were actually crying, because they found familiarity in somebody who cared. But I also told them, I said, look, the next administrator that's going to come, they won't care because there's this bottom line that they have to meet. So you can take it personal. They are doing their job just like you're doing your job. So because we connected, because I'm from Africa, doesn't mean I wasn't doing what I needed to do, or perhaps doesn't mean the next person is not going to do what they're supposed to do this because this says this says this says this, and they must find me for the bottom line. And so these are some of the decisions that you make. Healthcare is tough. Healthcare is a tough business in the United States, and that's why we are not even top when it comes to healthcare in this country. People think we have the best healthcare system in the whole world. We don't. I think U.S. is 17 on the list. The last time I checked, we were 17. Um, because we're missing so much. We're missing a lot. Anyway, that's a topic for my healthcare colleagues that I often have my own debates with. Anyway, so yes, I think I have answered your question of my thing that I do, healthcare consultancy, establishing new business and making sure they are sustainable, and they hire the right people, they're following the right regulations. States and federal do have their own regulations, and so they have to follow them based on state. So what may be applicable in California may not be applicable in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, so on and so forth. So these are some of the things that I do when the project is in Massachusetts. I have to know what's going on in that state. So we move. What do we move to? What library move to is the question. Oh Lord, have mercy on our souls. But yeah, anyway, we move. We move, we move, we move, 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 move. Anyway, what do you guys have other questions here? Let's see. The bureaucracy involved in modern healthcare is so troubling. It's very troubling. MK, yeah, I started as a medical assistant and got promoted as the lead medical assistant. Good, and before you know it, I switched to healthcare. Yeah, it's a fascinating field, but if you don't navigate your way, you can get very frustrated because the field is already designed to be predominantly white males. And so if you don't fall within that category, you need to develop yourself more than what is required. So if your requirement is master's degree in this and that, you, my friend, need to get more certifications. You, my friend, need to network. You, my friend, need to contact. Too many things need to be done if you fall within that category. But it is a rewarding career path. It just sometimes you lose yourself as a human being. Anyway, we move. It's for tough people, you know. Healthcare is for tough people, and I applaud nurses because most of them actually really care. My fitness channel, that fitness channel is dead. You know, it's dead because I'm not as involved in doing content when it comes to fitness, you know. But health is wealth. I always say this. And if I'm not exercising, running 7 miles, or hiking on weekends, I'm modifying my diet. Oh, that's very good. I think we need to talk offline. I love to see my fellow administrators on here. Anyway, um, I when I'm not working, especially now that I've done this whole surgery thing and I've not ran, it kills me inside. It really does. I've just been modifying my diet a lot. I've made more salad within this last month than I've ever made in my life. So I modify my diet to make sure that I'm staying afloat. You know, I'm keeping up because if I decide, oh, I'm gonna eat that tteokbokki or that Thai food that I like to eat, my little stomach is gonna tell me you need to stop. So, you know, I do the best I can to one, maintain my mental health. Is very important. I think within the last year that has been my main focus as it relates to health. My mental health is so important that I have really prioritized that. And then I, you know, come back to my emotional health and then my physical health. Before I used to put like too much of my physical health and my mental health used to suffer. And what mental health is also part of, you know, being at a job and just stressing yourself, or it doesn't it does not meet your own values of life and being there because of X, Y, and Z, you need to put that into consideration. And so my mental health has been something that I have been working through. Even if it calls for me to go to some type of professional to have conversation, I'm very much so into that. Um, and of course, this weirdo, whoever it is here. I'm very much into that. I do acupuncture. I go there because you know it really does release a lot of stress and tension. Um, you know, or if I need to speak with a therapist, I will have conversations um, with those individuals. So my mental health is very key, and what I put in my body now is so key um, to just live in a good life, I guess. So now that my AirPod is dead, to living a good life, yeah. Um, a lot of things when it comes to mental health, it's also boundaries. You know, I like to make people feel very good and happy, but a lot of the boundaries is and family members specifically like, hey, you know, I just cannot do this right now. You know, those type of things. But yeah, mental health is a big priority. Physical health, I do a lot of running. Most people on this channel probably know that. I do a lot of hiking. Um, yeah, I try to maintain because health is wealth. If you're healthy, you can do so much. You know, you can accomplish so much. You know, um, yeah, yeah. Good question though. Good question though. Okay, let's see. This person says, okay. I love working as an administrator, the healthcare center, and the hospital. Yeah, I think the hospital setting is my favorite. I'm currently planning to go to Liberia. Okay, that's wonderful. I will still be working with my company virtually, but my position will be changed. Oh, what would it be changed to? Um, what would it be changed to? If you don't mind sharing. Yeah, I mean because it's demanding, right? You have to pretty much be physically present in that role. So I see how that is. Um, Yeah, very, very good question. Very good question. Very good question. You guys are asking good questions. You guys are involved in this discussion today, so that's always brilliant. Got to share a little bit about myself today, so that's good. Instead of this girl coming on here and talking all the time about business in Liberia, and so I have invited you guys into my life a little bit more. So that has been great. what else would you guys like to ask? Good questions, though. I like this discussion. And MK, I would definitely like to have a conversation with you. I like to see my fellow administrators and healthcare leadership discussions. Very, very key. Okay, it will be conducting trainings. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's something that can be done remotely. I like it take on organizing in a political way to develop our country where we allow politicians when we can organize. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's see, let's see. Okay, I like your take on organizing in a political way to develop a country where we rely on politicians who we can organize. Yeah, we do understand um, the obligation of government. We understand that. If anything, I tell people government is actually more symbolic than we think. So if we, the people, okay, we, the people, don't take initiative, don't take matter into our own hands, we won't see the change because government, honestly, they're symbolic. The president is symbolic. We, the people, must act in order to see change. Each time election comes around, do you think the government official are asking, "Oh, are we going to vote for ourselves?" Who do they go to? The people. So you are the change. You really empower change, or you influence change. So we who want to see the change needs to put this ourselves in the shoe of change and bring about change and find ways to change things, organize to change things. That's the only way. Because if we rely on somebody that comes in power for 8 years, well, six, is that what it is? 12 years. If we rely on that, where are we going? Because if a symbol is just a symbol, it is just a symbol. So for those who want to influence change, not that you should pay deaf ear to politics or government. Like I said, politics has everything to do with you, regardless of if you care or not, if you think of it that way or not. You can tune it out and ask yourself how you become impactful, how you can be involved, how you can be engaged. And that's why when I do what I do and what inspires me to do what I'm doing, I don't think about what government who's gonna call me to say, oh, thank you, Kumbaya Fest, or what the government official that's gonna support the movement, or the government official that's gonna come to my community to build to fix drainages. No, 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 no. What is within my power and in the power of those I work with collectively, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Because they say time wait for no man, and it's true. You have your house and it's flooding, okay? You can have corvette and drainage, but then you say you're waiting for government. Please tell me if your house is not gonna sink. You can't, because sooner or later your house will fall apart. So that's what's happening. Okay. Um. Okay. So thank you, my dear Michael. Hey, my sister, my mom has a master's in business administration. She oversees the health and wellness agency and works virtually now and receives so much administrative duties and charge of branding. Yeah, when you do things remotely, the role does change because you're supposed to actually be within the field, I would say. But clerical stuff, administrative stuff, and it actually become more overwhelming than you think. Um, so that's the shift now that's happening in healthcare as the baby boomer population grows intensively. Uh, new ways have to be discovered, and businesses kind of have to modify to their own ways because we are becoming more of an aging population, and we have to keep up with healthcare demands. And sometimes it's people just can't go in person, especially now with what happened with COVID. Healthcare systems are really looking at ways to like revive everything that has happened before COVID. And so that's why a lot of people now engage in remote work. Some people can even sit on an island and drink um, rum punch and be doing work. So, yeah. The other aspect here to this text was um, let's see. It says, oh, I have many family that are pursuing health sector, but I like finance. Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, money people, right? Money people. That's good. Yeah. The other thing here is let's see. Let's see. That's so true, Doctor. We kind of did an interview with Wodi Maya, so educational African government, and this is and the social economic slavery. Yep, I mean absolutely. Um, I'll have to check that out though. I haven't seen that specific interview, but yeah, government, social, and economic slavery very apparent in most of our African society anyway. Um, but the people are those that will influence change. Like I've said many times, we are the people that will be influencing the change that we want to see because we already know. Yes, please do, please do. If you have your email here, if you want to drop your email address, MK, I'll be interested to converse with you. Um, yeah, we are the people we need to really we need to step up. I'm no longer interested in like bring people telling I'm just doing my best, I'm just trying. No, you're not. You are probably slower than the turtle. We need to do better. We need to do better, and I believe we can do better. I've seen, and I was talking to somebody yesterday. I said I'm so proud of Liberians for the first time in a long time. They are taking this country into their own hands, whether it's gradual or not. More and more people are doing their best, and that makes me sleep good at night. Because I know with this movement, new generation of people thinking differently now, in a more collective space, we will see a lot of good things happening to our country. So I have actually talked your ears off tonight. I It really has been a pleasure having you guys on this channel today and listen to my career aspirations, Liberia, and ways for us to all be involved. Sincere gratitude. You guys have a very blessed night. Um, don't snore. Don't snore like some people I know. Okay. And you guys really might invite me to move back to the motherland. Yes, 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 yes. There's so much joy. Somebody actually asked me recently. Who asked me recently? My friend Gabby. She's from Mexico, so I went to visit her because her father passed away, and I went there to show my gratitude and appreciation for everything the man did and when he was alive, and to just empathize and sympathize with her. And she said, "Emma, you've gone to so many places. What's your favorite?" And I said, "Africa." Africa, the continent. And then I started to go into countries. And she was like, wow. Even though this friend of mine knows about Liberia because I make sure to educate my friends about my country.
but she didn't understand why I chose Africa so much when I have gone to, different places, in the sea. But the joy that I get when I go home is just, it's different than when I go to France, I go to Italy, I go to Caribbean, I go to South America. It's just a different kind of joy. It's like my ancestors to say on this cliche, welcome home. There's something in the air. I can never place my mind on it, but there's just some kind of joy. The moment I leave the plane and I touch down, my whole body starts to just feel like something is happening. I cannot describe this. I just feel his sense of joy regardless of the circumstances, that when I get out of the airport that I will see somebody struggling, somebody needing this and that. I just feel joy. So yeah, that's why it's my favorite, because the joy that I feel, and home, like I said, is what the heart is. And so that's why I thought it's my favorite. It's my favorite out of everywhere I've been. Continent, my favorite. It's not. It's rich, but yes, there are some issues that there are not some issues that can be fixed. But yes, still, so much joy, so much joy, and happiness in this life is a choice. And when you can go home and feel welcome, you go to a shop and nobody chasing you with bags, nobody asking you to do this, that, and that because da, da, da. There's joy. That's what Africa provides. That's what Liberia provides, and that's what Ghana provides. Because those two places I go interchangeably. Um. So yeah. You see, you guys, if you guys can notice, some tears was about to fall down as I'm talking about the joy that I feel when I go to this country. But anyway, we move. Um. Yes, share the link, you guys. And okay, thank you for being inspired there. How many young people are in Liberia? I honestly don't know, but well, actually, the last time I checked, Liberia population consisted of 70% young folks. If that number changed, I would really like to know when it changed. Like ages under 30 cause all I've ever seen are older generation folks and their family members. Liberia population consists of majority of young people. So that I think you can look that up. This can be reflected in election results if you're really looking at the population and finding that data. See, ideas are so modern new age. I encourage you to do women empowerment in Liberia one day by God's grace. Yeah, really. I just pray for long life. I have the vision is big, but I pray for long life so that a lot can be achieved, and I'm happy to meet like-minded individuals who are really willing to work together to accomplish so much in our country. Okay, so it says that's why I want to visit my homeland as well. Yes, absolutely. Please contact me there. We have a women empowerment group. We just started. Our first target will be farming in Liberia. Okay. What is your email? Can you write your email here so I can email you right away? Or yes, please. MK, please send me your email here so I can contact you. Good evening. Hello, Mike V. How are you? Uh, fourth industrialization. Yep, it sure is. Yes, please, MK. I would like to really contact you and be a part, you know, of such uh, women's empowerment. Yep. Oh, my AirPods are charged now. That was quick.
So yes, MK, what is your email, please? So I can collect your email here, and then we can chat. please leave me an email so I can reach out to you. We have a lot to catch up on this administration stuff. And now even this women empowerment stuff you've stated, so we can chat more about it. So yes, what is your email address? Please put it here so I can contact you. All right, excellent. Thank you so much. As always, like I said previously, it really has been a great pleasure. All of you guys who are on this channel, I don't know who you are, but just for taking your time to, yeah, I have dual citizenship. Yes, I have dual citizenship. But is it effective? I'm unsure because the information, the info is just all over the place. But yes, dual citizenship. I sure do have it. Um, be blessed. Have a good evening, and thanks for sharing my videos, liking, commenting, and sharing. And even if it's one person that is hearing this and saying, you know what, I need to do something, I'm even more grateful. So have a good evening and don't snore. Bye.